Good evening, folks. We are live once again. Let's get everything switched over, loaded up, and we will resume Dyson Sphere Program. Alright, think we got BGM going. Looks like we have game footage going. Alright. We were picking up where we left off last time, from what I remember, and I haven't really done any work on the save file offline. I figured we'd keep the progress for the stream itself and keep moving forward. Last time we spent some time refining the base a bit. Biggest break in the case, as it were, is we finally got planetary logistics. And we haven't started using them a ton yet, but we did finally get the ability to move things around the planet as we need to. And that's going to come into play more and more as we start to kind of centralize production and make things more efficient. We want to start moving towards interstellar logistics next. And I think after we hit this research that I queued up while the stream was loading, we are going to be pretty close. We might need to refine a couple more parts that we need to produce the structures, but we're pretty close to interstellar. Let's take a look. We need the reinforced thrusters first and foremost. So we should probably throw that onto the bus and have it start producing the thrusters. And to do that, let's expand the bus out a bit. We might have to move power supplies here. Let's move the bus out a few iterations because we're going to need to slot in some other things. So let's see, where are we? Structures. I need to queue up research first. So we're up here. Interstellar Logistics System. This is probably the next big game changer that we're going to need in order to expand our ability to gather resources and produce things. I kind of hinted at this before, and I've shown it off a long time ago when we looked at one of my other files. But we're going to set this up to research now. We have the yellow research going, and quite a bit queued up from red and blue, so that should be fine. I need to check something. When I was playing my offline save, I realized I made a mistake with some of the belt pathing that was causing my research cubes to get fed out at a slower rate than I wanted. And I don't think it's happening here. What I had done by accident in my other save, I had a setup almost identical to this, with all the different produced research cubes coming into overflow storage here and then being fed to the matrix labs. But when I upgraded to the Mark II belts, there was a belt inside here that was still a Mark I. So I didn't really pay attention, and this was feeding out with a level 1 belt and everything going to level 2. So basically it was dispensing all of the stuff slower and slowing down my research, and I didn't realize it until I got to green. So I don't think we have that problem here. Everything is coming out in a solid line, which is what we want. So we'll start by expanding the bus out to the east here, and then we'll take a look at what we're going to need to create the thrusters, and then we might need to put some other things into production before we can actually start creating the vessels and the actual logistics towers themselves. But we can see right now, since it just finished, these require the planetary logistics towers, which we have being produced already, titanium alloy, and the particle containers. So we have these. We have not done alloy yet, which we're going to need yeah, we're going to need to set up a production site for that too. That's going to be fun because it requires titanium, which is our commodity that, along with silicon, that we're having to traffic from our nearby mining outpost for now. So we don't have an infinite source of this yet. And we need steel, which we're producing steel at a decent rate. We'll see if I end up running out. And then we need the containers. Or the acid, rather. Titanium, steel, sulfuric acid, which acid is being produced over here, but we do not have a surplus that we can just pull directly off the line. This is overflow for graphene, which is being produced here. So I'd be hesitant to go and take the production lines for sulfuric acid and just pull some of it off from the tanks. It would drain faster than it's filling. So I have a different idea on how we can get around that, which is going to involve extending production out here and then using logistics to basically move stuff around. Hey, Red Dragon's here. What's up, Red Dragon? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing this Thursday evening? All right, let's see. Let's see if this works or if we start to pull too much of our resources down. Basically gonna run this and wrap it around 3x3. Red Dragon says, doing okay, thanks. Yourself? Oh, I'm doing alright. It's getting close to the end of the week, finally. It's been kind of busy. I was in meetings almost all day long today. And that's always fun. I'm looking forward to the weekend. One potential hiccup is going to be, yeah, it's probably going to be this over here. Refined oil. That's a little bit of a concern. Since we don't have a good supply of it, we're basically pulling a lot of surplus over here. So that I'm a little bit concerned is going to run out soon. So we might have to set up an alternate site for refined as well. We have space for it, so that might not be a bad idea. And let's see, we got a small raku. All right. It's small time. I don't have anything to stand on today, so I'm just going to stand on the bottom of the screen right here. And there goes the timer. Probably should have tried to increase the storage over here. This is crude oil being pulled up from the crude oil sources, which we've kind of tapped out near this section of the map. There aren't any immediately nearby. There's one here. Let's do that, since we're gonna probably set up another production site, maybe right around here for refined oil specifically. I'm gonna set it up here, and we're gonna use this source. It's closer, and we'll just wrap around with belts over here. But first, let's expand the bus out a bit. Ooh, run out of fuel. My main goal today is going to be to get Interstellar Logistics. And Red Dragon asks, what is the goal of this game? So the goal of Dyson Sphere Program is to build and advance your level of tech on your base here, on wherever your planet is to start, to build up the tech tree, which looks like this. These are upgrades that require certain materials, certain research technology in order to get to the next level of complexity. Along with that, you have upgrades to your mech, which is the thing I control and walk around in. And the point of the game is to get your technology to a point where you have the ability to construct a Dyson sphere. And if you've ever seen certain science fiction and whatnot, a Dyson sphere is a big frame or structure that can harness the power of a star. This is the star in our home system here. So ultimately, we want to be able to build something that's going to harness the power of this. But in the meantime, we have to deal with the dark fog, which is floating here, and they're currently accumulating resources from another planet. This is our enemy. They will have been driven off of the planet we're on now, but we're going to eventually have to fight them again, both on the planets we kicked them off of and in space. Red Dragon asks, are the starting planets random? It's seed-based, kind of like Minecraft. You can use a random generated seed or one that somebody else has for your starting planetary system, but they all follow a set list of parameters. So each starting system has its own limitations on the resources it has in it, which means you're pretty much required at some point to branch out. Right now we're in the planet system we started on, but we're going to have to branch out, which is where warp speed technology is going to come in, and we're going to be able to warp into other areas and start building bases there in order to further our level of resource gathering. And at that point is where the game really opens up. Hey, Capri Sun's here. You joined just in time to see small mode for another minute and a half. Welcome to the stream, Capri Sun. Hope you are doing well. Alright, let's put a battlefield analysis base up here to help us build. I'm going to keep expanding the bus out this way. Eventually we're going to cut it off. Now that we have logistics, it's not going to be entirely critical that we have everything on the bus, but until we have some more key structures being produced, we can keep it centralized here like this. Presun says I'm a little better now that I have headphones. Oh, good. Hopefully your headphones are offering good audio quality for the stream broadcast itself. That is always something I am very concerned with when it comes to streaming. Okay, we need thrusters, reinforced thrusters, which require, oh, the alloy. Okay, that's why we, so before we even get there, we need to set up some more oil production. And taking advantage of the tech that we have with logistics, I can kind of illustrate how we can save logistical space by not having belts run everywhere like a spaghetti base. So let's see, how many do we have? Let's grab some more drones. I see Red Dragon's heading off to bed. Alright, Red Dragon, thanks for popping in to say what's up. Have a good rest, and I will definitely catch you later. Okay, so one thing you'll see me kind of transitioning to when it comes to how we have our base logistics laid out, and over time, a lot of the builds are going to move this way, but for now, it's going to be kind of a mix. Instead of running belts everywhere, we want to move things in a more efficient manner and keep things less cluttered. So we're going to put down planetary logistics right here. In fact, we're going to get relatively close. Set up power for it. Yep. Got it. Set this one to have about 50% total charging power, so it doesn't tank our energy grid. But we're going to tell this one, you're going to store crude oil being pulled up from the source right here. Freeson says, have you heard Perception Check by Tom Cardy? I'm going to drop a link in the Discord. I have. I am very familiar with Tom Cardy's work. He's great. Very funny, talented dude. It was cool that he got to do music for Hell of a Boss as well. That was very surprising to hear. Yeah, he sang the juggling song in the most recent episode. I'm caught up on Hell of a Boss. I can't remember if I told you that, Capri Sun. But I've now caught up on Hell of a Boss, and I'm waiting for the new episodes for Has Been to drop tonight. I'll probably watch them while I'm eating dinner if they're out. Okay, let's see. We can put refined oil. Maybe we can put it over here, right in the middle. We'll do that for now. Might have to move some of these poles, but I think for now that'll work. Pre-Sun says I'm not going to get them till Saturday unless I get lucky. All right, well, if I get a chance to see them before then, I'll make sure I don't drop any spoilers until you can talk about it. I have Prime, so whenever they drop on Prime is just when I've been watching them. Yeah, you folks probably aren't really surprised to know that I take spoilers pretty seriously. So whenever it comes to a property or something, I usually try and be careful about what I talk about, just so people who are actively going to be consuming the product don't get spoiled, because that's no fun. So you'll usually hear me ask people, like, hey, can we talk about this? If people are going to watch it, then I'll probably just hold off so we don't get people spoiled. I see Snake popping in, dropping 3 hydrates. Joke's on you, Snake. I'm almost done with my smoothie. But I'll probably switch to good fuel after this. I have to go make some. Okay. So what we've done here is we've set up a destination spot here for planetary logistics. This is going to be demanding the crude oil from our site that's way over on the other side being actively gathered. And we should have the range for it. Yeah, there it goes. So now our drones are going to, at a moderately respectable pace, and from the other station, they're going to start flying the crude oil back and forth, alleviating the need for belts. Pre-Sun says there should be a what flavor redeem. I have so many flavors of G Fuel and Gamer Sups. I probably have like 20 different flavors in my cabinet. That would be a crazy amount of redeems. We'd have to put it on a wheel, like a random wheel. Snake says, I'm excited because next week we're going to get the reveal of what Kamen Rider series they're officially bringing over. Oh, nice. I will rely on you to keep us in the community informed about what is coming out. Alright, what's the capacity of these things? 30. They're bringing over 30 at a time. Problem is, crude oil doesn't really accumulate super quickly. Not as quickly as I would like. So the one disadvantage is basically this thing has to hit 30 before one of the drones will grab it and pull it over, but they'll do it immediately. And eventually, once we upgrade their speed, they'll be pretty zippy about it. Capri Sun says, I was thinking a redeem that just tells us the flavor you're currently drinking, but yours is better. Well, you guys can always ask. I know whenever I go and grab some fuel, I usually don't really specify, but if you want to know what I'm drinking, just ask. I'll tell you. I usually mix flavors together, which is why I've accumulated so many of them. Since I mix them all the time, it takes a while to go through. I kind of made myself stop buying them until I can clear a couple of them out. They're taking up space in my cupboard. Snake says, I've also surprisingly finished Japanese Spider-Man. 40 episodes seems like a lot until you realize you watch 5 episodes a day. Yeah, I guess you can burn through it relatively quickly, but it sounds like you had fun with it. Okay, 960. That's not a ton. Where is... I was putting some overflow somewhere else. I just forgot where I put it. I think it was... here? No, not this one. It's a different one. Let's see, this one's coming from over here. I think it was in the middle somewhere. Oh, it's down here. Alright. Yeah, it's this one. So, we could do it like this. It's not the most efficient way to do it, but just because I need to consider the power grid, putting logistics stations everywhere will ultimately put us into kind of a power deficit. So we can path this up this way. And we're going to feed up some additional oil here. And eventually we're going to hit a limit. Hopefully before we hit a limit over here. I did see Capri Sun ask a little bit further up in the chat what flavors I'd recommend mixing. I guess it depends on your flavor preferences. I've found that for the I cannot keep the G Fuel and the Gamer Sups flavors separate, so I can't remember which is which. I'll just tell you like by flavor as opposed to by brand. I think my favorite flavor is the peach kiwi one that Moist Critical made from G Fuel. That one can mix with pretty much anything if you like peach and kind of like a tropical-ish flavor. There's another one that I can't remember who recommended it, but I ended up picking it up just because the name was funny. It's called Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000. It's got a really silly name. but it's from some streamer that I've never heard of. It's apparently pretty popular, but it tastes like Baja Blast. That one is also really good. Oh, I see. Snake says Snake's been watching Has Been Hotel. I did not know that. That's interesting. Capri Sun and I have been talking about Has Been Hotel off and on stream since we've both been watching it. Have you watched all the episodes that are currently out, Snake? The new ones are coming out tonight. Let's see. We want refineries. Oh, I don't have a lot of refineries. Breeson says, also Schlatt has a blue raspberry flavor called Titty Milk. Yeah, I have that one. It's not blue raspberry. It's kind of like a coconut milk flavor, like a coconut cream, almost like a pina colada flavor. It's okay. I don't really like it by itself, but if you mix that flavor with other things, it tastes really good. There's a blue raspberry flavor from both Gamer Subs and G Fuel. I have one of them. I can't remember which one I have, but there is a blue raspberry one. Again, it's all right. It's good to mix. Snake says, yeah, it's later on in the show where the songs are actually pretty good. A lot of the early songs are all right, but they're not the stuff I would listen to. That's interesting you say that, Snake. I was talking to Pweps about that recently, and they said the same thing. They didn't really vibe with the songs in the beginning too much, so much as the ones later. I have liked the music across all of the entirety of Has Been Hotel, and I'm not a musicals person by any means, really not at all, but a lot of the songs I feel like just are fun and have a lot of like character to them. But that doesn't mean everyone's gonna vibe with every song. There's nothing wrong with that. Snake says, if I had the chance, I would buy the Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000. That's a good one. Again, it tastes like Baja Blast if you ever had that flavor from, was it Taco Bell? Yeah, Taco Bell. It's also really good to mix with stuff. All right, we're going to drop some refineries here. And where do I want the output going? Maybe, oh, yeah, maybe down here. I'll have it going in one direction, one way or the other. Resun says, quoting Respectless, looks like. And talking about Velvet from the V's. Yeah, Velvet's great. She reminds me of kind of a evil version of Garnet from Steven Universe. Like a sassy British lady. I think I was talking about it previously, but of the earlier songs, I really liked Stayed Gone with Fox and Alistair. It's a really fun song, and I'm a sucker for swing. Like swing type songs, and it's basically like a swing rap battle. Which means, like for electro swing stuff that we see later on in the season, I really liked Best Dad in Hell. Nick says, right now I've been downloading different shows on my computer to get a broader taste. I'm watching 4th Super Sentai. It's going pretty good. It's basically the reason they used to make my favorite season, Power Rangers. Oh, yeah. From the original Super Sentai runs. Alright, let's keep pulling refineries over here. And we're going to have to split the output between refined oil and hydrogen. And maybe it would have made more sense to split this the opposite way. Actually, I'll split it this way. We're going to send the hydrogen over here. We can use it elsewhere. So in order to do that, we need to go splitter, go here. Point A is going to go down here. We want this one to be hydrogen. And this one is going to be the refined oil, which we will pull a little bit further down because it's going to feed production down here. And you are going to wrap around this way. And we're going to store hydrogen over here in the logistics facility for use later. We could use this in power. We can use this in a bunch of places. Snake says, I'm kind of glad there's another fictional character from Louisiana that is not Gambit from X-Men. Oh, is Alistair from Louisiana? I did not know that. I probably should have stuck that a little bit further away from the belts. Okay, that'll be fine. It's fine. Okay, so now that's going to feed over here. We've got supplemental refined oil. We don't want to build too much of this, but for now, we are going to need it. So we'll just have this go here. Now we can set up more sulfuric acid, which is the whole reason why we set this production line up. And we can actually have the sulfuric acid also get stored here in the logistics facility. So it's actually good that it's there. Snake says maybe we're known as the spooky state, so I don't know. I've been to Louisiana. Only to New Orleans, though. That was several years ago. I went there with my brother and some of his work friends, and it was very, very strenuous time for my liver. But it was fun. Really good food. Food was phenomenal in New Orleans. Okay, we're going to set up some more of the chemical plants here to produce more of the acid. And this is going to need to wrap around. We might have to go up and over and around. It's going to be kind of messy, but we need to get this output of sulfuric acid over here so we can use it. And to do that, maybe go over. Let's just move this pole, get out of the way. And we go like this. Squeak by. Oh. There we go. That should do it. Freesun says, fun fact, sulfuric acid creates an extremely dense gas. It is also extremely caustic, right? Like it's corrosive. If you touch sulfuric acid, it'll burn your flesh off. I'm not a chemist. I did very poorly in chemistry. Alright, so now it's going over here. We can fill out the production line with more plants up till the end of the input. We'll just go all the way down in the end, fit as many as we can in this spot just to be efficient. Looks like one more. Okay. Now we need steel and titanium. And because we have logistics here, and this one's just accumulating crude oil, what we can do is have this one ask for acid, and then we have the stuff being trafficked over here. I see we're getting the background of Louisiana area government officials from Snake. That is interesting. I didn't know a lot of that stuff. Okay, we're gonna increase overflow here a little bit. Put the hydrogen in there. Basically, just like we did with the crude oil, the drones are going to take all of the sulfuric acid that gets produced out here and fly it all the way over there to the area near the bus, which is what we want. Oh wow, this thing topped out on crude oil. Guess it doesn't go through it terribly fast. That's good. Snake says, yeah, he's the reason why our bridges are lower enough that you have to go through us to deliver stuff down the river. Oh, interesting. Okay, so now we have sulfuric acid here. What we can do is do kind of a hybrid setup from the bus. We need steel and titanium in order to make the titanium alloy. So rather than worry about centralizing things purely on the bus itself, what we're going to do is run one line of acid here and make sure we have enough space to do so. Then we're going to go up to the bus and run titanium and steel down and connect it to that line, and we'll do all the production over there. So steel, where are you, steel? Steel's at the bottom, I think. Nope. Middle, right here. So we'll hook this around. Connect this up, and we're going to do the same thing for titanium, and all the production for the alloy is going to be down here. And I'll probably run it up here to store so we can distribute it out to wherever we need it. Have it in one place. Snake asked, by the way, did you guys see State of Play? That was yesterday, right? I think it had happened during the day, and we didn't really talk about it on the stream yesterday. I didn't catch it. I figure if anything that I was really keen on checking out had been announced, I would have heard about it yesterday. I know a lot of we were talking about it yesterday. A lot of the people who were expecting a Bloodborne announcement were very sad. They're sad every time. It is unfortunate. But as far as everything else, I didn't really check around the news sources today. So I don't know. If there's anything noteworthy you folks saw in the state of play that was announced, I'd be interested to hear it. I think they showed off some Dragon's Dogma stuff, but I'm just going to get the game when it comes out. So I haven't really been paying attention to the press too closely. Oh yeah, I think it was you that mentioned the PC port for Bloodborne pretty much getting nixed by Sony, which sucks. But it's Sony. Oh, that's what I saw trending on Twitter, Snake. The Death Stranding 2 footage people were talking about. That one, I haven't played the first one. I heard it was fun. It was kind of an interesting experience. Okay, we need to smelt these. So we need to craft some smelters. Put these down. These are going to be creating the metal alloys. And we'll have the output running opposite direction this time. We'll have it dumped straight in here because we want to store it for use later. A lot of things require that titanium alloy. Now, one thing I'm keen on keeping my eye out for in gaming news is any additional information on Monster Hunter Wilds. But the developers, after the announcement at the Game Awards, said that they won't be talking about it till summer. So it's not going to be until the summer gaming events come around that we're going to hear about Wilds, which is to be expected. They have Dragon's Dogma releasing next month, so I'm sure Capcom doesn't want to split the attention on their projects. Yeah, Capri-san, only thing we know about Wilds is that it was announced, and I think they said it's going to be on every system except the Nintendo ones, which makes sense. But that one doesn't come out till 25, so supposedly. As the year goes on, I'm sure we'll hear more from it. Snake says, I have Xbox, so I haven't played Death Stranding. I'm just glad Kojima's doing well for himself with his own company. Yeah, he'd been talking about making a film, right? I wonder if that's still in production or if he's still doing that. I wonder if he's going to work with Guillermo del Toro. That would be a very interesting project. Okay, how are we doing? Burn rate is not trivial. We'll leave the rest of the production here for the alloy for now. If we put too many of these out here, we're going to be burning our resources faster than we can keep them here. Steel is probably okay for now. I need to keep an eye on steel. Titanium, in fact, let's go look at our titanium supply. See if we need to go do another run to pull it over from the other planet. Nah, we're good for now on titanium and silicon. If we keep moving towards Interstellar, hopefully we can get it in place before we run out of all this, and then once we have Interstellar, we're not going to have to worry about manually shipping stuff to and from planets ever again, and that's going to be very nice. Snake says, I mean, Konami is a bunch of bastards. I'm just going to say that. That's kinder words than most have for Konami. Hashtag F Konami was trending for a while and seems to retrend every once in a while too, which, you know, I agree. Konami has absolutely squandered any goodwill they would have had towards people who liked their properties. And that's a shame. A lot of big properties, like, of course, Castlevania, Metal Gear, Gradius, Contra, a lot of the classics. You can just kind of forget about seeing new entries in a lot of those anytime soon. Okay, so we need to set up reinforced thruster construction right here. And to do that, we will need to pull some of the electromagnetic turbines. Again, one of the hottest commodities that is going to be a constant problem that we'll need to solve eventually. But for now, we're not using a ton of them. But we need to pull that. And from our supply, we need to pull some of the titanium alloy. So because we have the logistics station right here, we'll just pull the stuff straight up and drop that right there. Resun says, wait, they own Castlevania. No wonder Nocturne sucked. Are you talking about the animated show on Netflix? I need to see that. I don't know anyone who's watched it. But if you're saying it sucked, that's disappointing. Because I really liked the original show. The original run of the Castlevania animated show was great. I don't have Netflix, so it's not like I can watch it right now, but I did want to watch it eventually. I just realized that small mode has been on for like over half an hour, and you folks didn't say anything. That's a lot of free small mode. That's what I get for not paying attention. Oh, I see, Capri-Sun. You've been plotting behind my back. Greatest anime betrayals. That's okay. I need to pay attention. Alright, we want to run alloy this way. And we want a storage chest for thrusters here. And we need to connect you here. Yeah, I don't know if I ever get Netflix, I think I'll probably still watch the Castlevania show just to see it. The art and presentation looked really good. So even if the story isn't great, I still want to see the production and see what they did with the characters. Okay, let's leave that there. We now need a site for these Interstellar Logistics stations, which is going to use some of the stuff we're producing here. That's why I set these up next to each other. And for this we need... Oh, we need the planetary logistics ones. Okay. These are not terribly close together, but fortunately it's just over here. I thought it was a lot further down the line. That's okay. It's messy, but we can run a belt between all these just to get these where they need to go. That's fine. And these are going to go over here. This will feed one this way, like that. And these should be stacked up. Yeah. We have these sets of 3 sets of 10. One of these requires just one. Yeah, we won't go through them super fast. Need to be careful because these are pulling down similar things that we need. The particle containers, processors, and titanium are going to be hot items till we get Interstellar up and running. But soon. Now we can run another line of our alloy. Need to keep an eye on how much we're burning for that too. Actually. Can I squeak it by? Nope. Okay. We'll just run a separate line. Do the same thing, running up, just around to the other side. Regarding the Castlevania series, Capri-san says, I mean, the animation is going to be good. I do like the character designs, but it sounds like there were issues with the characters, like you're talking about Simon and whatnot. I wonder if they'll ever do anything else with the Castlevania property. There's a lot of lore and stuff to potentially make a show around. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, now we need to grab particle containers. And we need more belts. Ran out of Mark IIs. Hey, Lava King's here. What's up, Lava King? Welcome to the stream. It's Thursday. Is today's judo day again? If so, how did judo go? How did involuntary yoga class go today? Resun says the art of folding clothes, people still in them. Yeah, I said that last week. I think that I need to come up with some more, but those are the only 2 for judo that I know off the top of my head. Hawking says, it's not involuntary yoga, it's floor speed dating. There you go, that's a good one. I had a friend of mine a long time ago, a classmate of mine. He had a kind of clever pun that he used to call. He wasn't a judo student. He just made it up one day. Usually in martial arts, the do, it means like the way. So like judo is like the way of, is it throwing or something? I forget what the ju in judo means. But my friend, pun that he used was judo, like Jewish people, like the way of the Jew. That's what he called it. Now, he was Jewish. He could make that joke. I'm not Jewish. I can't make that joke, but I thought it was funny. Let's see. We want to run more metal, titanium alloy. Capri-san says I can be the Jew in judo. Oh, that's right. You are Jewish. I know you've mentioned that before. It's been a while. That's not really something we talk about a lot, but I know it came up somewhere. Okay. I'm gonna need to expand the bus lines again. So now we have everything here is going for the Interstellar Logistics, rather. Let's put 3 stacks. They take a while. These things take a while to craft, so we want this up and running. Pre-Sun says, I am Jewish. Yes, usually comes up around Chrysler, Merry Crisis, Crimbus. That makes sense. Same said friend of mine is the that I was talking about with the judo pun. He's the one who runs our D&D game. And so I see him every other week or so, and usually around the holidays, he's talking about all the stuff his family's doing for Hanukkah. And so that's when I usually hear about all that stuff. Everything I learned about the Jewish faith, I learned from this friend of mine, which is not much, but more than I would have learned on my own. All right, let's continue to expand the bus. Whoops, no, that doesn't go there. It's off by a tile. Can't have that. Everything must be in order. Or else the gods of Dyson Sphere Program will smite me. There we go. Son says, if you have questions, I may have answers, but I promise nothing. I'll keep that in mind if it ever comes up. I only try and be respectful. Doesn't matter what religion people are. I'm not a religious person, like I've talked about on I think on stream before at some point. But I try and be respectful. You know, I don't want to offend anybody. Except for Scientologists. I'm not really that respectful to Scientologists, but admittedly I don't know any. But if I did, it'd be really hard to resist the urge to clown on them. Okay, we need one more component for Interstellar Logistics, and then we're going to be able to get this thing up and running. You folks can see this thing I've been talking about for like a good... How old does this save? 25 hours. At least 23 hours ago I mentioned that we needed this capability, and we're so close. Lava King says, I thought you were an amalgamation of bees wearing a spaceman DK costume. I'm not a big collection of bees in a trench coat, no. The lore, according to Wazi, is that I'm full of bees, but I am not a sentient hive mind of bees. Okay. Before I forget, we need to set up the vessels that are going to be used to send stuff to and from wherever we're going with Interstellar Logistics. And these require the same engines, same titanium alloy. That's the primary thing we're using this for right now. At which point, I'm going to split this line. We're not going to be using a ton of titanium alloy, just a bit. So we're going to split this and have it run to one source and then the other. Oh, DJ costume. Gotcha. That makes more sense than a Donkey Kong costume, Lava King. But all I know is what I can read in the chat. I'm no DJ. Just because I wear the headphones and occasionally make things that are like music. Music adjacent. Still want to do that charity DJ set concert though. I have not had a chance to talk to Matt about it, but I do want to do that still. I think that would be fun. Lava King says, I bet y'all don't even know the difference between lava and my alter ego magma. I'm not a geologist, but all I know is one refers to the molten rock when it's inside the earth, and the other refers to it when it's outside. I want to say lava is the term for it when it's outside the earth, and magma is the term for when it's inside the earth before it comes out via eruption or whatnot. But I could have that backwards. Okay, what else do we need? The engines. Okay, I had it right. I just didn't necessarily explain it as eloquently as Lava King did. Lava is external and magma is internal. We have a couple active, at least one active, significantly active volcano where I live, and one dormant. All right. Breeson says volcanoes are cool because we didn't have them on Sadala. Remember the 4 years I spent on that planet before it exploded, though. I did learn about volcanoes. I didn't learn about volcanoes until I came to Earth. Ah, lore. Actual character lore. How does a planet form land masses without volcanic activity, though? I guess it would have to do it via some other mechanism? I'm not a geologist. Probably not a good person to ask. Okay, so alright. This is pretty important. We've got interstellar logistics. We've got vessels. These will get produced over time. We only need, well, technically we need more than 10, but we'll split between these for now. So let's break down how this is going to work. We're going to have to do a bit of planet hopping real quick, but once it gets set up, this will be fairly clear. We are going to establish interstellar logistics that's going to supply us with silicon and titanium, thus negating the need for these big crates over here. These eventually are going to go away. Alright, so we need to find a spot, and probably... Oh, what's all this? Let's get rid of this garbage. Probably somewhere around here. These things take up a lot of space. You'll see they're massive when I pop them down. Let's see if we can make a little room. In fact, I'm just gonna... where's this going? Over here? I guess we need that. We'll just loop it around, get it out of the way. Alright. Oh, good. Wow. It barely fits. Alright, let me test if I can get the belts to where they need to go. If not, I might need to move this thing. But this massive tree looking thing is an interstellar logistics station. And not only are they big, they have a massive power draw. So they require connection to the grid, and we can see actually while it's charging. This is something that's going to be a problem that we need to fix next after we get this up and running. Alright. While this thing is charging, you can see it is severely taxing our grid, which is also going to be a problem when I go and set up the other one. But for now, it's fine. Once it charges up, the strain will go away for now. Let me clear my inventory out. Get rid of all the garbage I just picked up. So the way these things work, interstellar stations work similar to the planetary ones, but they have one more slot for commodities to be moving back and forth, first and foremost. They also need, they don't need to be, but they can be filled with drones in order to move their contents to the planetary logistics stations. So real important to know, these big tree-looking things talk to these smaller ones. So, and vice versa. You can send things from the small ones to the large ones, and the large ones to the small ones if you need to move stuff around. That's really important. In addition to the drones, we need to throw vessels in here, which is why we had, I thought I took 13 of them. Let me go grab those. Unless I stuck them in here by accident like a fool. Yep, there they are. Let's go grab the other ones that are being produced while I'm sitting here yammering on. We want 20 of them to start. We'll need more later, but to start we need 10 and 10. And you get them in stacks of 50? I think it's 50. So we're good for now. We'll let these keep producing over here, and hopefully don't run out of alloy. I think... Oh, we're out of acid. Okay. Gotta fix that later. So the production on the alloy is going to slow a little, but eventually... we'll set this to maybe about 1 row. When these fill up, the need here is going to stop. We'll do 2 rows here since these are stacks of 50. Eventually this will stop. P-Sun says alloy is metal melted down in another metal. Yeah, it's like a reconstituted form of a metal or mineral, I believe. It's been a while since I did chemistry, but yeah, basically it's like you take something and create an alloy out of it by changing its chemical composition. So like for the titanium alloy, we're taking titanium and mixing it with acid and steel to get the alloy. All right. So this will fit there. Can we get to the silicon line though? That's the question. Oh, maybe. Where is it? It's... Oh, it's right here. Might be close. Oh, we want to go here. Ugh, what a mess. Spaghetti bases. Let's see if I can squeeze over here. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. It's really kind of close quarters. That work? That'll work. Boy, it's not pretty, but it works. Someone asked, would it be metallurgy or a type of chemistry? I think it's technically chemistry. I don't know. Maybe it's metallurgy. Or alchemy. I don't actually know. Okay. So I'm going to set this up in real time. When we add the vessels, and I could see the ships, which might be a little bit difficult to see, but they're these kind of flat looking ships with cargo crates on them. They're now docked here. 10 of them total. Docked here at the station. Right? So we're going to set this one up. We want titanium and we want silicon. The two things we don't have on this planet that we've had to truck back and forth manually. So we're going to leave this here, and now we're going to go set up a corresponding station on our mining outpost. So we got to leave the planet. And there's our mining outpost right here. It's just a quick jaunt over, which means it'll be really easy to traffic stuff back and forth, thankfully. So this is our site where we have the silicon and the titanium being mined and being dumped into storage, and we're having to carry it back and forth between this site and our main site. So we're going to solve that problem right now, which is a pretty big leap forward for our tech level in the game. And so the best way to do this, we want all the stuff feeding directly from the mining site. So I'm going to have to reconfigure stuff a little bit. But we want an Interstellar Logistics site right here, right near all of our mining stuff. We're going to have to run power. And we want this connected to the main grid of solar panels. Hopefully this doesn't completely kill the grid. It's going to be a big draw of power. We will find out. Freesun asks, teleporter? Not quite. Not quite a teleporter. You'll see once I turn everything on. We don't have teleporter tech in Dyson Sphere Program, but this is the next best thing. Okay, these are dying. These things are dying. And I think it's because they're not connected up here to the main grid. I think. Oh no, they are. They connect to the main thing here. It's kind of unavoidable until we get more power output. But we don't really have the ability to do that unless we start setting up some additional power generation stuff, which probably solar, like another ring of solar is probably the best way to do it. Right now we've got one ring. And we set this up just because we only needed to power our mining equipment before. Now that we have Interstellar, this is not going to cut it. 93 megawatts of total power, and one of these things draws a max of 162. So I guess we could take a quick second, because we could turn it on, but it's going to basically tank the grid every time it starts running. So before we do that, let's set up the actual resources we want and have that start feeding over. And then we'll go grab more solar panels. And we'll put more solar panels around the planet. So this is going to have silicon and titanium. And we're going to need to re-optimize our output for titanium as well. It is not accumulating as fast, as evident by the fact we don't have multiple storage crates full. But in the meantime, we can do this. It's one thing I didn't think to do in my other save that would have just saved me some time. We can grab it all by hand. And chuck it over here into the main storage for now. These things hold a max of 10,000, I think, for raw ore. Yes, 10,000. So now what we actually want to do is do this. We'll just throw this in here for now. Freesun says, can tell when an image is generated on Amazon by any language in it. AI can't generate language. Oh, that is interesting. I did not know that. And hey, we got Mason Pari 23 popping by. Hey Mason, it has been a while. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Oh, we had extra solar panels here. Oh, we need more. We have to go grab them from home base. Let's make sure we're saving. Okay, need to pop back over to the home base, grab some solar panels, and we're going to lay down probably 2 extra rings of solar, and we'll see how that that affects the overall grid strength for our energy production. So Mason, we're playing a game called Dyson Sphere Program. This game's all about building and optimizing technology as you create a functioning factory base and eventually get the ability to travel around the stars and fight angry AI robots. Freesun says, I gotta sleep, so I'll talk to you later. You'll know when I'm caught up on the season finale. I'll be annoying you about it. Oh, no problem. Sounds like a plan. But have a good night's sleep, Freesun. I'll catch you later. Mason says, I'm good. Sorry I haven't shown up as much recently. A lot's been going on. Oh, no worries there. I always tell people not to apologize about not showing up to the streams or whatnot. You folks can show up here whenever you want to or have time. And you're never going to hear me guilt tripping people and saying, hey, you haven't shown up in a while or anything like that. That's no good behavior. It's garbage. And plus, if you really want to know what kind of shenanigans go on here, there's always the archives on YouTube. Okay, let's add some more solar power to this planet. And then hopefully this will be enough power generation to supplement our logistics and we can turn everything on. Oh, I'm burning a lot of fuel. Should probably recharge. Or not if I'm completely out. That's not good. Oh well. Need to keep an eye on that and grab some more when I'm back on home planet. I'm gonna get stranded here on the outpost base. We can do this though.
You've built a wireless.
We can recharge here so we don't burn all of our fuel in our inventory. And even this, setting up these wireless power transmitters recharges our mech pretty fast. Even this stresses the grid, so we were going to have to do what I'm about to do and improve the output of energy eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 parallel rings, so 3 rows total. And it shouldn't take long. I'm just going to run all the way around the planet. And there should be a sustainable solution for power for the short term. Okay, that's fine there. The way this energy grid works is as the planet rotates, we look out here in the planet view, or maybe it's better to do it from here. As the planet rotates, a portion of these solar panels is always going to be in direct sunlight, and so they will contribute energy to the power grid, and the ones that are in the shadow will go offline and look like this with the red. And so the point of doing a belt all the way around the planet is to have all these generating power at a certain given time of day, so that it's supplying energy to the grid for us to use. And if we do, let's do 2 rows and see how much we have left over. If I can do 3, I'm going to do 3. Oh, what happened? I got skewed off by one. How'd that happen? Oh, it's over here. That's why. Yeah, let's fix that. We'll be a little bit anal and make it line up so it's at least neat and organized. Does it make a difference? No. But does it look nicer? Yeah. going to be out here colonizing and stripping a planet of resources. We might as well do it with a good sense of aesthetics, says the artist. We're probably about halfway around the planet now. And what we'll do is we'll complete the entire ring and then see what the total grid output looks like with the second row. Keeping in mind it was 150 something, 170 something in total power draw for that logistics station. So we need to be more than that. Okay, let's let our drones catch up and actually start dropping stuff down. Oh, here's the start down here. All right, almost there. And let's see, still have a pretty decent stack of the panels. So anything left over, we'll just go throw back into our storage here on the planet. And if we need to build out this grid for more energy later, we can come back and add another ring. Eventually, we'll kind of hit an event horizon for how much it's going to yield. That's going to help. But for now, we're up to 146 capacity. I think one more. I know this is tedious, but once we do this, we'll be able to set up our logistics station, and it should run okay. So bear with me while I do this one more time. Oh, I wonder if it's the geographical lines. That's weird. We should not have an issue with scale. Huh. I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. I wonder if I'm too close. That it's kind of annoying. I think it's because of the geographical lines. We're gonna have to put the ring up one notch. So it's gonna be staggered a little. That's fine. I don't think anyone's gonna look that closely, but it'll bother me. I think what I'll do once we get this up and running is I'm going to look at the total mining output for titanium and maybe build that out a bit since we're here. Because there's always going to be demand for titanium. Even in the end game, it's a material that we're going to be using for a lot. So if we have a good production setup here, then we won't have to come back and fix it later when our resource needs go up. What's going on here? Okay, let's just keep running. Still have a lot. I think we're going to have a decent amount left over. We can just throw in storage for future use. Okay, still doing okay on energy. In addition to flight, general movement, and weapon systems, the actual construction drones do drain some of your mech's energy reserves. So that's one thing just to be careful about, especially if you're running low. You don't want to completely run out and then get stuck. All right, how close? Almost done. My guess is this is going to get it close to around 200 in total output, which, no, we don't want that. Which for our purposes should be enough to sustain the logistics, which is what we really care about at the moment. And then hopefully we don't have to touch it again on this planet. We will have to be careful about drawing the attention of the dark fog, though. Eventually they're going to come mess with us. And that'll be a problem. Okay, 187? That's not as much as I would have thought, but we will find out right now how sufficient that is. Oop. Okay, so we have everything full up here, and basically all our overflow is going to just continue to move into the storage crates, which is what we want. For our titanium smelting, what's up with these? These don't have a destination, or a source rather. I have one line doing production and smelting of titanium. Huh, when did that happen? I don't even remember why I disconnected these. That's probably why it's accumulating so slowly. Oh, that's why. There is only one node. This one is at 7.6. Yep, there's only one node of titanium, that's why. Well, I guess we can use a splitter and redirect one of the lines, because we have three mining machines spitting ore out over up near the top. Okay, that's not a ton of titanium. That will become a problem at some point, but it's fine for now. Okay, let's throw all the extra in here. What we're going to do is make sure everything's good here, go back to base, and I'm going to turn this entire logistics system on finally. So we've got all of our source. Now we just need to pop back to our destination. And hopefully I've configured it correctly. If not, it's going to be very embarrassing when I turn it on.
Your vein is almost depleted. Ore reserves in each...
We are running out of resources on our home planet. Okay. That will also be something we have to deal with soon. Yeah, we're dealing with a sulfuric acid shortage here. but that's fine for now. So what I'm gonna do in the short term, I have an idea on how to solve this. I'm gonna deactivate the logistics on the silicon and the titanium, which means we can get all the resources back for these because it's power drain. But we're gonna go over here to our Interstellar Logistics. This is what everything we've been doing has been leading up to. Finally, we have our output. We're gonna call this. This one goes to, be careful here, titanium. Nope, I was wrong. This one is silicon. This one's titanium. And now our output is fine. So we go in here. We want this thing to demand from the network of Interstellar Logistics. We want to demand titanium, silicon. So if we go to these buttons here and we say remote demand and remote demand, what's going to happen is these ships are going to take off from the station and they're going to fly up and over to the mining outpost. You can see them zipping over here. They're going to collect the materials in the station over there and fly them back, and then the vessels from here are going to load up their cargo and fly them back to home base. So now we have a supply of titanium and silicon being flown back and forth by our logistics, and we now no longer have to worry about having to go over there and gather it by hand and then fly it to and from our main base. You can see them fly back in from space. They touch down, offload their cargo, and they'll go take off and grab some more. And to save a little bit of energy, I'm going to start pulling all this stuff out of here. These are just overflow that we had to grab by hand. I'm going to stick this in the main station here. And then once the storage is full, they'll stop sending ships until they need to go and grab more. So we've completely automated our titanium and silicon for now. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. And so now, as we just kind of proceed, we'll see our logistics vessels flying to and from this planet and the mining outpost carrying important resources. And what we can also do, which might be a good side thing to set up, it looks like this is the vein that was giving us the low warning at some point. You could see this thing is flashing here because these nodes are running low on iron. In addition to having the logistics ships flying titanium and silicon, which, oh, it cleared this. Whoops. Okay. We can also fill up these slots here with other materials we need. So if we take a look at the map, the mining outpost has a pretty minimal amount of iron, but there is a decent amount of copper here. So we can go and grab copper, smelt it on the planet, load it into the logistics station, and have it ready to ship over to our home world, since eventually we're going to be running out of copper as well. Iron, we're probably going to need to find another solution. If we look at the other planet in the system, which is being mined by the dark fog over here, hot zone. This one also doesn't have a ton of iron. What's up with the iron in this system? Decent amount of copper, a lot of titanium here. Some stone, marginal coal, no silicon. So we might need to eventually start looking outside our system in order to get iron, which is not common. Usually iron's abundant. It's a very common resource, but apparently not here. Okay, let's go ahead and save our progress. I know it might not seem like it to folks who haven't seen this game before, but being able to get interplanetary logistics is a big deal. It makes things a lot easier when it comes to getting materials to your base when you're starting to run low. And what I may end up doing is moving some of this stuff, but for now we'll leave it. We're ultimately going to need to start producing more of the electric motors and the electromagnetic turbines. So these things, and then the motors here. One second. Someone is talking to me. All right. I'm going to need to go get a drink in a sec. Not a smoothie. So at some point, we're going to need to take a look at our output and production and re-optimize what we're doing. Right now, I think we have steel here, and I think we have steel being produced somewhere else. Or maybe I got rid of... No, it's down here. So we don't have a ton of steel being smelted, which is going to be a problem later at some point too. We could do... I forgot this was here. This thing is feeding over iron to the main bus line, and it's feeding copper to the... to down here. Yeah. Which splits and goes to the main bus line. We could set up a steel smelting site, like somewhere nearby this thing, and have it feeding to the bus. So that's a potential solution. But until I see these really tick down and get depleted, I'm not too worried about steel. The engines and turbines are a problem right now. We're running almost at a deficit for those. So let's take a look at our roadmap for tech. Now that we have Interstellar Logistics, that's a big burden for two of our resources alleviated for now. Our next target for tech, and this is another big one, which we're going to have to work through a few phases till we get there. But our next target is down over, where is it? Nope, that's power transmission. Fusion, that's something we can look at later for energy. I think I already researched it. Just don't remember where it is on the tree. Here. Solar sail orbit system. Our next major accomplishment Oh, hey, I see first time chat from Server Horror. Sorry, I didn't see that pop up a second ago. Server Horror says, set a planetary logistics next to all tapped resource nodes, centralized production, planetary in front of a bus, interstellar on one pole. Do people do that in order to run raw ore or resources from the interstellar on the pole. I know when you set up Dyson Swarm stuff, that's really a good thing to do, to centralize where all the stuff's coming down from the other planets. But right now, we just got planetary logistics in the last stream. So a lot of what you see out here with all of these just regular mining setups, they're from before we had all that. Ideally, what I thought about doing is gutting all this out and then using planetary logistics to centralize what the stuff's coming up. But I didn't do that just because it would have been really messy. But yeah, that is good advice to get everything centralized. We just got Interstellar, literally in the last 15 minutes, up and running. What I'd like to do is pull all this stuff out and have it just feeding in from the planetary logistics and then just doing the construction of things like the coils. But I didn't do that. This is all just slight variation of what we had before logistics came into the picture. And it's taken so long. If we look at our resource count, we're actually almost out of copper and we're running low on iron. I think every node's tapped, I think. Most of them. There's a couple outliers here. So what we could do, taking into account, again, efficiency, we could set up planetary logistics out here and grab these nodes instead of feeding them out to the main site with belts we don't need to do anymore. We could set up little mining sites and have planetary logistics pull all the stuff where it needs to go. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 iron. I think all the copper is tapped right now. Okay, there's some here. These are buried. These could be converted. Yeah, we could do that. That's not something I didn't really think about. We could convert a lot of these remote sites into planetary logistics and have a central smelting site that feeds what we need down here. I didn't think to do that right away, but that's not a bad idea. It'd be faster. Ultimately, we need to start moving towards getting the Dyson Swarm up. Our power needs are eventually going to get eclipsed by everything we're doing. I don't even have anything researched right now. I should probably do that. Now, we'll hold off on fusion. We'll go for high strength material next. Hey, thanks for the follow, Server Horror. Much appreciated. Welcome to the Space Bees. Hope you enjoy your stay. I take it you're a pretty well-versed Dyson Sphere Program player, just based on your terminology, which is good. People who know the game better than me, I always welcome recommendations for setting up things that are more efficient. I understand that this base layout is kind of a mess, and I really went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to overhaul it, and I opted to just not overhaul the whole thing on stream. But we will, let's see, after that one, what else do I need to queue just for Dyson Swarm? We're going to need all these at some point. I'm just trying to prioritize. And probably won't jump to fusion. We can do lightweight structure. We're going to need these when we eventually get to the sphere. I haven't even started on proliferation yet. I figure I'll think about proliferation once we have the swarm up and running. All these. We are going to need particle colliders. One of my least favorite structures in the game. I don't think these things are very efficient. Right now, we're not at risk of being attacked, so not too worried about the defense and offense upgrades. We'll get all these eventually when we eventually go and start forcing the dark fog out of our system. But for now, I'm mostly trying to get tech that's going to allow us to progress up the tech tree. So let's see. What are our components we need? We're going to need... Oh, that's right. Photon combiners. I forgot about these. We don't have those on the bus. And honestly, I don't know if we're going to need to put it on the bus. Because we have logistics now, the bus is not super critical for everything. Because we can just have stuff being flown around where we need it. Okay, in order to get the combiners, we need prisms and we need circuit boards. We don't have prisms on the bus since they were only being used for a couple things at the time. So we could set up a site for glass. Glass, then prisms. I think there's a lot of stone ore not being tapped at the moment. And circuit board production is all over. Okay, that's done. Glass is being produced up here along with the bricks. Is the only site doing glass? I think this is the only site that's doing glass. Let's see. I think there was a couple of nodes that were not being mined for stone. Taking in line what Server Horus said, I think if we can get a couple of them in the same area, like right up here, what we can do is set planetary logistics up here to pull these 2 stones for raw ore, and then set up glass prism smelting wherever we want. So yeah, we're gonna start trying to centralize stuff a bit more now that we have planetary logistics. I think that's gonna help in the long run. Oh, thought I got rid of all that titanium. Apparently not. I'll just leave this here for now. So let's grab some more of the planetary logistics in the drones and start working on getting a bunch of mining stuff set up. And we might even be able to delete some of our main clutter around the base. Oh, I see. We haven't finished overflow here. It is feeding these. We'll do 2. We won't be going through planetary logistics that fast, or interstellar rather. So we'll just let that cease production. Let these stack up a little bit. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna need to grab. Yep. I'm running out of fuel. I wasn't even paying attention. Eventually, I'm gonna probably start using hydrogen rods for fuel. Another thing we can do, which might be a side project coming up. If you look at the star map, this gas giant here currently has fire, ice, and hydrogen as materials we can harvest, but we need the orbital collectors in order to do that, and I haven't built those. In fact, I don't even have that researched, I don't think. No, we should probably gun for that as well. Orbital collectors, they're down here. And this needs... Oh, whoops. Oh, power transmission. Okay, we'll do that. What orbital collectors will enable us to do is set up a whole bunch of passive mining things or gatherer things on the gas giant, and then our interstellar logistics vessels will be able to get the materials from them and bring them back home. And that's going to be handy for both hydrogen and fire ice, which is useful for producing graphene with a little bit less trouble than the way we're doing it now. Right now we're using graphite and sulfuric acid. Graphene just requires fire ice, and it produces both hydrogen and graphene. So that's another thing we want to do to make our production a little bit more efficient. But let's start one thing at a time. First, centralize our stone ore gathering here. Popular today. Alright, we've got another thing done. We'll queue up another research. I'm gonna need to refill my water in a sec. Or I'll go make some gut fuel in a sec. Let me get this logistics station going. I might have put that a little close. Oh well. So what we're going to do, again, this is what Server Horror was talking about, sort of. We're going to throw a bunch of mining machines around here. And rather than have these going off to a smelting site for now, we're going to have them dumping all of their contents here. And then we'll be able to move the stuff around to where we want for an actual centralized smelting site. And we should have no issue with stone ore going forward. We'll have a lot. Probably do 3 and 3. And we do the same thing over here. Let's try and get 8. That'll work. And just like the other side, we're going to feed all the contents into the logistics station so that it's on demand, be able to be flown around wherever we need. Okay, so we need these here. Huh. What happened to this site? This was connected at some point. Unless I started building one here and just forgot about it. Huh. Well. Okay. Alright, well, we can make do. This isn't connected to the grid, and that explains all of the wind turbines. We don't need these anymore. These aren't going to really do anything for our power generation. I'm going to systematically start deleting those wherever I see them.
build a signal tower.
There we go. So we're going to do... Actually, I was going to say, I don't need a separate one. I'm just going to have all this stuff going up here. And we'll be feeding in all of the copper we smelt here as well. And we can fly this to site and do copper smelting. Oh, these are even Mark 1s. Yeah, I must have just forgot to do something with all this stuff. Okay, let's do 2. And all this stuff's going here. I think what I'm going to think about doing, we'll see if I feel motivated to do this off stream. I might start systematically overhauling parts of the base to centralize all the production. Now that we have the planetary logistics and the interstellar, we can really clean up a lot of this. So I might do that. Like, where's this coming from? Oh, all the way over here. What we could do, yeah, we could gut a lot of this stuff out. I've been hesitant to do it because of the amount of time it would take. Maybe, since we're getting close to time on the stream today, maybe next time is going to be base renovation. Probably not the most entertaining, but if I have time between now and next week, we usually stream this on Thursdays, maybe I will do all of that overhauling myself, and then we can continue on with our progress rather than spend a whole stream just renovating. I think people will probably get really bored. But yeah, there's definitely some cleanup to do to make this whole setup a lot more efficient and a lot cleaner, from the production lines to the actual bus stuff that we're using. Just in general, this whole thing could be reworked. So before we wrap up, let's take stock of what we did. The biggest thing today, in addition to some of our tech upgrades, the biggest thing is we have Interstellar Logistics up and running. We no longer have an issue getting silicon and titanium here, which is, again, short term, pretty significant as far as tech advancements. Next up will be centralizing production a bit more to make the base a little cleaner, and then pushing towards Dyson Swarm. That's going to be the next major goal. Dyson Swarm and orbital collectors for our nearby gas giant. Those two things are going to be the next priority for advancements going forward. And now we can just research this. So this will be done by next time. Excuse me. What I'll need to do is set up production lines on the bus for the orbital collectors. They'll probably go down on the end near some of the other stuff. And once we have the Dyson Swarm up and running, that is going to immediately draw aggro from the Dark Swarm. So when we get close to having the Dyson Swarm go live, I'm probably going to need to start researching space weaponry. And that's going to be where the game gets a lot more fun. Because, well, let's see. Right now, they've pretty much left us alone. We kicked them off our planet. We kicked them off the mining outpost. Right now, the only planet they've got occupied is the hot zone here, which is a desert planet, I believe. It might be lava. It might be a volcanic planet with no lava fields. And so, while we've been doing all this, the dark fog has been steadily building their hive cluster out here, orbiting in space. So at some point, we're going to need to take the fight to these suckers. But we're not quite there yet. We're going to need actual space-based combat ships that we can take out there to fight them. And ultimately, that's going to be the plan, to take control of the entire system, drive them out, take control of all the planets in the area, and then from there, we're going to have to start branching out and looking at other star systems and expanding our influence even more, because we're out here in Homeworld, home system. There's quite a bit more out there that we can explore, and quite a bit of game left. We are, I'd say, exiting the late game, entering the mid game-ish. Mid progression, I'd say. Quite a bit of work to be done. So let me go ahead and do one last save. Just for reference, I'm not going to load it, but my offline save that I'm playing, separate from the stream down here, is at 85 hours. I, quote-unquote, beat the game with the final tech unlocks at 80. And the last time I did that prior to this update, it took about 120 hours. So, I'm getting better. Hopefully by the time we get to the end of the playthrough for our current on-stream save, our time will be less than 80 hours. It's hard to tell because when I'm streaming and I'm talking to people, I definitely build slower. It takes me a little bit longer just because I have to pay attention to what people are saying in chat, versus when I'm by myself, I can just go. So I'd say if we can do it in less than 100 hours, that would be good. But we'll see. But we can go ahead and get ready to wrap up. Let me go see who from the homie list is online right now. Oh, hey, Six is online. I haven't got a chance to raid Six in a while. One of my VTuber peers, the dog femboy. He's cool. Let's go see what Six is up to. So let me queue this up. Oh, here's a new model. We will go ahead and let's see what's here. Let me pause BGM. We'll go to outro. And we will call that a stream for today. Thanks to everyone who came and hung out. It was good chatting with you folks as usual. We will be back on Saturday this weekend. I got something on Sunday, so I just swap my days around. Saturday, we will be doing a regular Beatbox Jam stream. So, like we have in the past, if you want to come and learn about beatbox and beatbox technique and sound theory, we'll be talking a bit about some topics which I have not figured out quite yet. In addition to that, we're working on BGM brainstorming for upcoming music release projects as well. So if that sounds fun, feel free to drop on by on Saturday, I believe, 2 p.m. Pacific time. But in the meantime, let us go send the good vibes over to Six and see how he's doing on history. Have a good evening, folks. I'll catch you in the next one.